Should be working. Yes. Oh, should be working now. Just wait up. Hello, is it?
Yeah.
It's just our time.
Yes.
So good morning to everyone. Today, 29th of April, 2023. Let's have another wonderful study. So let's start with a quick prayer. Father, that art in heaven, here together in your name is another attempt to improve our knowledge, improve what we know, and to learn how to use better the mediumship that we all have a bit. Be with us today and always. So be it.
So be it.
So let me share this screen with you all. My computer is a bit slow today. I don't know why. So let me just move that by. Okay, let me reduce a bit the size of it. Okay, so you guys, last week you have stopped at 144. I hope you had a good time with Charles, Munir, and the other guys. So we start from there. A simpler device, but one that bad faith can easily abuse, as we will see in the chapter on fraud, is what we will designate by the name of Girardin table, in memory of one of the use made by Madame Émile Girardin during the many communications she received as a medium. Although she was very bright, Madame Girardin had the weakness of believing in spirits in their manifestation. Believing in spirits and their manifestations. The device consists of a small round table top about 18 inches in diameter that can turn freely and easily around an axle, like the wheel. Letters, numbers, and the words yes or no are engraved to its surface around the edge. And in the center is a fixed pointer. The medium puts his or her finger on the edge of the top, which is pinned until it stops with the desired letter in line with the pointer. The letters are written down, quickly forming words and sentences. When it says here quickly, we need to take into consideration the methods they had at that time, because very unlikely it was faster than a psychography. Very unlikely it was faster than a psychophony, right? One should know that the round table top does not slide around under the medium's fingers. Instead, they remain fixed in one place on the edge and follow the movement. A powerful medium could possibly manage to produce an independent movement. We believe that it is possible, but we have never witnessed it. If the experiment could be performed in this way, it would be more conclusive because it would be less open to fraud. Why are you saying that? we have to remember, even nowadays, that there's a lot of serious phenomena happening. There's a lot of people trying to make profit of it. There's a lot of people trying to abuse or trying to make something that's really fake just to convince people. If you do not put your hands on the object or on the table or on this little top table, it will be way more difficult to fake it. If you put your hand over there, somehow someone may have developed a technology or a way to make it turn. But if you don't put your hands, it becomes more difficult, because that means whatever is happening only because of the fluids, because of the magnetism, because of the energy, right? We must correct a widespread error that consists in confusing all spirits who communicate through raps with those who are specifically known as rapist spirits. Tipology is a mean of communication like any other, and it is just as worthy of being used by high-order spirits as is writing and speech. Tipology, the way they call that phenomenon, reminds me the telex, telegraph. We don't use that today anymore. We use WhatsApp, we use Zoom, we use internet. So likewise, what was available at the time to allow the phenomena to be spread around the globe, today we don't need that anymore. All spirits, whether good or evil, can use it as well as the other means. This is important. We speak a little bit here because there's a common fear amongst the mediums that if I give voice or if I write a message from one spirit that's not very elevated yet, means that I am also on the same level as the spirit. Or another thing I saw over the years is that, well, will this spirit be haunting me, be obsessing me because I allow him to speak through me, knowing that the spirit is not very well elevated yet? I respect that fear, I respect that concern, but this is lack of studying, this is lack of understanding of the mediumistic phenomena, how it works, how it happens. You know, a medium is just a medium. He or she should be able or should allow to receive messages from any spirit. There's a lot of mediums who try to filter what they want to come through them for many reasons. For many reasons. I saw many years ago people even trying to say that this type of spirit cannot communicate in this meeting. This is not the type of meeting we should be prepared to accept this type of spirit. We have to remember that we are human beings, and what we believe in our life, we always try to implement in anything we do, including mediumship meetings. It's something like I'm saying today here, for example, in our mediumship meeting, we do not accept any type of spirits other than British spirits. I'm using British just because I'm in UK today, but could be any from any part of the globe. This is not realistic. This only reflects ourselves in what we want to do. Because in the reality, spirits are spirits, doesn't matter where they're coming from. green, blue, white, yellow, doesn't matter. And it's not the medium, it's not the indoctrinator that brings that spirit for the meeting. Not at all. It's who organized the meeting in reality are the benefactors, are the spirits that coordinate that meeting. From the other side, it's not the incarnated being. Are you prepared to tell the benefactors, no, sorry, we don't want to work with any other type of spirits other than X, Y, Z? The people that believe in that need to study a bit more. And remember one thing that's very important: charity. Imagine if one of yourselves in the spiritual world only had an opportunity to go into a meeting that someone believed you should not be there. That was your opportunity to find help, to find rescue, to find healing. But because of someone incarnated that believe you should not be there, I'm sorry. You need to wait a little bit longer until you find someone that truly understands the word and meaning of charity, so you'll be able to be helped. So we need to keep our mind open, our hearts open, and then truly practice what the Spiritism is teaching us. What characterizes highly evolved spirits is the loftiness of their thought, and not the instrument that they use to transmit it. That's another very important point, because, for example, let me see someone I can see here today. Letta is a very good medium, and she started to receive communications from, let's say, Bezerra de Menezes, Chico Xavier, doesn't matter. Choose a nice name. Ooh, I'm the super duper medium. Letta becomes to be so proud of herself. She may even consider that I am the medium. I'm the chosen one. And that's exactly what spirits who wants to deviate us from a path want us to be, want us to become. Because yes, Letta may well give messages from Chico Xavier, Bezerra de Menezes, you pick a name. But she will also, or she should also, give voice to those that are in need. But we have lots of mediums who believe that no, I should not engage in this type of work because I will bring bad vibe, bad energy, bad spirits around me or to my home or close to my family. And this is only lack of studying or understanding of the mechanism. They undoubtedly prefer the most convenient and rapid means. But that's very, very interesting. Convenient and rapid. When we start to have our pandemic, kind of 3 years ago, a lot of activities have stopped. If not all, most of it, around the globe, including spiritist activities. What has happened? A very small group decide to endeavor into other means to continue part of their activities. They start to use what is available to us today, technology. They start to have online studies. Thankfully, through the online studies, a lot of people could be helped, because a lot of people have been isolated with no one to talk. A lot of people were in the edge of a depression a lot of people were in the edge of doing something even worse to themselves. And through these studies, through the communication means, they found some sort of support, and they managed to go through. Another good example, some brave spiritist centers and spiritists, in my opinion, decided to start to do mediumship meetings virtually. And a lot of people raised their voices against it. It's not safe, it's not this, it's not that, it's not blah, 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 blah. And they remained at home, not doing anything, other than blaming people trying to find a way to continue practice charity. We will evolve. We will continue to evolve. And at that time was convenient, and perhaps was the only way to continue having meetings, mediumship meetings. That was quick and works. So if anyone tells you that, no, I don't believe, it's not safe, we have to study a little bit more about fluids, magnetism, energy, mediumship, how it works, how it truly works. Because until today, a lot of people believes that when the spirit is talking or writing through a medium, another spirit is inside our physical body. A lot of spiritists believe it's like that. And it's not. And today, after a couple of years, we have enough data, experience, proof to tell anyone that do not believe or don't want to do, and I respect, most of them by fear, that this process works. A nice proof of it is what we are doing here. Another nice proof is what we do after this study, because we do have a mediumship after this study. Online mediumship meeting after this study. It does work. Did we have any hiccup? Nothing that I would say, no. This method is not valid. This method is risky. This method. No.
Gil,
No.
it's Christine.
Hi, Christine.
Hi. Just on that mediumship meeting, is that open to anybody that attends this meeting, or is that a closed?
It's closed. It's closed.
Okay.
But the person that may decide to truly work as a medium, if he or she does have declared mediumship, let us know. And when we do have enough places in the meeting, we will invite the people to come. Okay?
Okay.
It's not a meeting to someone that's just curious. It's not a meeting to someone that just wants to see. No, it's something serious. And for that, we create some guidelines, if I may say like that, to continue with the good work that we did so far. All right?
Okay.
But when there is no pencil or paper available, they have no qualms about using a plain talking table. So why we don't have that nowadays anymore, or at least not on the spiritist centers anymore? Because they don't need. Today we have the mediums that are more comfortable with the phenomena. They understand the risks, the consequences of the activity. And why should I give away my internet to send you a letter that you arrive in some parts of the globe in a month's time, if I can send you a WhatsApp message that you have in the same time? Simple as that. This is demonstrated by the fact that we have received communications in this way. They are most sublime. They use the tool that is available. Likewise, the spirit may well use the medium that is available, even if the medium is not a prime example, if I can say like that, of charity, of morale, or things like that. Sometimes the spiritual world, they use the medium as a mechanic thing. That's the tool I have, that's the tool I will use. All right? If we no longer use the table, it is not because we despise it, but rather because as a phenomenon, it is already taught us everything we need to know. And we can no longer add to our convictions. What does it mean? That's very interesting. If we no longer use the table, it's not because we despise. That means that if they have to use again, they will. It means as well that this mechanism already shows to us everything it could. But there's one thing as well. It means that whatever we use today, one day may become obsolete. Let me wonder about some information we had in the past from serious mediums that they told us that eventually in the future we'll be able to use something like that we all have today to communicate directly with the spiritual world. You get your phone and you speak with the spiritual world. We may not need to have mediums per se anymore, because we all will have access, a direct access to the spiritual world. Why I'm saying that? Because there's a lot of conservative people that believe that we should live forever on the typology, on the basket, on the turning tables, or else. And they do not understand the process of evolution. Kardec said that Spiritism will evolve. So why should I be against it? So today, we are very happy, we are very comfortable using mediums to write, to speak, to do whatever. The day they may become obsolete, or we have another way to do the same, should I be against it? I think we all have the answer. Additionally, the length of the communication that we know receive requires a speed that is incompatible with typology. Imagine if I had to be telling you what I just said until now, letter by letter. The 1 hour of our study would not be enough. We can do a quick exercise here. HENCE, comma, ALLDTHE. Very good for you, isn't it? Are you understanding everything I say? Because I'm speaking letter by letter. So it's not practical, right? Was the mean they had at the time, the means they had at the time, but definitely not practical. Hence, all the spirits that communicate through raps are not rapping spirits. Ooh, Oh, that's very important information. Because even in this study before, we had questions. Oh, only lower grade spirits can do RAPs, isn't it? Only lower spirits can move things at our homes, right? Nope. Nope. The phenomena exists. The mechanism exists. Who is driving the mechanism is a high elevated spirit, a medium spirit, a low grade spirit. But the mechanism is exactly the same. It's like the magnetism. The magnetism can be used to help, and the magnetism can be used to harm. It depends on who is applying the magnetism, right? The laws of the universe are the same. How you use those laws is up to the individual, is up to the person. A designation that should be reserved for those whom we may call professional rappers, who use this means either to entertain people or else to vex others with their troublemaking, sometimes with witty exchanges, but never profound ones. I think that's clear, right? It would therefore be a waste of time to ask them any questions of a certain scientific or philosophical interest. Why is that? If we go to a kindergarten asking for a quantum physics subject, will the toddlers be able to give you an answer that's worth anything? I doubt very much. Because of their ignorance and inferiority, all the spirits have justifiably characterized them as the jesters and clowns of the spiritual world. Nonetheless, we must add that they do not always act on their own count, but often serve as instruments of highly evolved spirits, who may want to produce material effects. I want to pass a message to Sandra. Sandra, I'm doing everything. You don't see me, you don't perceive me, you don't listen to me, but I need to pass a message to Sandra. It's paramount that I make Sandra receive something. So I asked someone, perhaps a more dense perispirit, with other knowledge, with other ways to attract Sandra's attention. And he or she will. And then Sandra, first of all, she'll be scared because of the noises, because of the raps or whatever. But then she will try to find someone that can be an interpreter to her. And then eventually the message will come through, right? So if we go to a hospital, if we have a heart problem, very unlikely we're going to try to seek for a doctor that are only able to repair our bones, because we need someone with a specific expertise to look in your heart. Back to that sentence. So we have haunted places, we have haunted houses, we have times of day that we are scared in our places because there are noises. Ooh, I have bad spirits around me. Ooh, I'm really scared now. Perhaps it's even your guardian angel. Perhaps it's even your benefactor trying to show you something that your stubbornness does not allow you to see until you become scared. Any question before we move on for the last chapter? Any comment?
I have, Guilherme.
Yeah, go ahead.
About what you were saying. I believe that when we reincarnate as mediums, we come with boundaries set. And these boundaries they're essentially things that we must and mustn't do. However, we have a sort of a great space for action in between this free will that we have. And the higher spirits with their intense magnetism can work with us and use intuition and use lots of things to help us develop and grow and sometimes push us towards the right direction. However, certain times they don't do that because they need a stronger will from inside us to flourish and be able to reach a step. So it's almost like a father who is trying to teach his child to walk. He will hold the toddler's hands and then he will let go and say, come, come, come. So that's how I believe that when you reincarnate as a medium, you reincarnate with almost like a program of things that you should do right and you can do right. And all you have to do is take that first step. There will be hands holding you, and mediumship is that. And as mediums, often and generally, all spirits that come towards our way, they are people that somehow at some point we made a link and we either let them down or they let us down somewhere. And even when they are in a worse position, they still give back the energy that should have been, that they took from us hundreds of years ago.
I'll leave like that because in the future, through our study, we'll be able to see things you have spoken, and they will be prepared to grab our hands, to guide us when we become available. They will not grab our hands if you don't want to. They will not grab our hands if you're not doing something right. But if we become truly available to work this mediumship, yes, we'll have all the assistance required. A mediumship evolves as well. A medium that just right today, tomorrow be able to talk, tomorrow may be able to see. And part of this upgrade, if you can call like that, is related to your commitment, is related to your availability. And then the spirits will work with you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's Christine. Again.
Maxine?
So, I just wanted to share, and I don't know if anybody else saw it, but I was watching a special on TV where they had a medium and they had two doctors. One was a neuroscientist, and they had a very skeptical person there as well. And they put all these leads on his head to scan his brain at the same time as he was doing a reading and the person who was being read was very cynical and skeptical as well.
Mhm.
And the neuroscientists that were there were very surprised, because when the medium started to provide information, his brain pattern changed significantly. And the neuroscientists said they'd never seen anything like it, that for the first time ever, they had evidence that something significant was happening to this person who called themselves a medium when he started to provide information. I just thought that was really interesting to see that.
Christine is a small minority who is open to really investigate seriously the phenomenon, right? I was in a university last Saturday, I was in a university, and this particular university received a lot of money to build a new building, a new program to try to develop further instruments to analyze better our brain. I made a question. Yes. Are you also trying to find the external activities of the brain? What? Yeah. I think science already proved that when we think, we create energy. We have some patterns in our brain. We can see that through MRIs. But if the brain creates energy, as is proven already, and if I have people with some sensibility that can perceive your thoughts, can perceive your feelings, can perceive something, it means that energy pass through the skull. Because if you only remain inside the skull, you would not be able to, right? So the person starts looking at me like, oh dear, another crazy one. And I stop asking questions, right? But eventually, some scientists with good intuition, they will also invest to look beyond the physical matter. Thank you, Christine. Hi, Yasmin.
Yes, it was just a comment about something you said earlier about, well, I forgot. Online meetings, for example, and people who are afraid of having spirits coming into their home. And well, I maybe a quick reminder would be that spirits can basically can go through walls and so on, and we also attract them based on affinities, the lower affinity in English, not sure.
Mhm. Mhm.
And if we are prone to drink alcohol or to colère,
Anger.
anger, thank you. To anger or to everything, we will attract spirits from the same order, and who are not sometimes better than the ones we can meet during mediumship meetings, and so we just should remember that. And that also a reminder to try improving ourselves daily, because if we don't want to have bad spirits at home, we should start doing good things and working on ourselves. And yes, and a good reminder is to practice the gospel at home, to study the gospel at home too. It's not only enough to go once per week to the spiritist center. Oh, I studied the gospel with my friends last Saturday. I don't need to study it anymore. Well, it's if we really want to
Mhm.
move on and to progress.
Good comments. And I will take that as a lead to something else. because we are afraid about having online meetings because we may bring those spirits home, right? What do you think happens when you have a face-to-face meeting on the Spirit Center? They may come with you anyway. They may follow you back home anyway. And what you have to do to prevent that? Because the spiritists, they have that thing that, oh no, the spirits will remain on the Spirit Center. Some of them, not all of them. Because some of them you brought to the Spirit Center with you. And some of them you will take with you back to your home. So what just been said is a formula to start to minimize that with the gospel at home, things like that, you know. But the risks are exactly the same, depending on your behavior, depending on your choices, depending on who you are. Because face-to-face or virtual, there's no difference. You will attract those spirits with your actions, with your thoughts, with what you say. And talking about that, what you say, it became very normal nowadays to swear, right? And some people are not able to do one sentence without swear. Words have meaning. Words are powerful. What you bring around you, within you, or to your home is what you get. So the same risks you have in a virtual way, you have in a face-to-face way, because there's only one common thing between both. You, what you do, what you are. And that's the key. So what time is it? We have 15 minutes. Anyone want to ask anything else before I move on? Good. Pneumatography or direct writing pneumatophony. I love those words. Pneumatography is writing produced directly by a spirit without any intermediary. It differs from psychography, which is the transmission of a spirit through a spirit thought in writing through the hand of a medium. Direct writing phenomenon is arguably one of the most extraordinary in the Spiritism. But as strange as it may at first appears to be, today it is a proven and incontestable fact. Well, I never saw that phenomenon. I cannot talk about that, but we do have in the researches on the books a lot of information about that. If a theory is needed in order to comprehend the possibility of spirit phenomena in general, this case especially requires one, since it is one of the most startling presented so far. Nonetheless, it ceases to seem supernatural when the principle underlying is understood. When this phenomenon first appeared, the dominant feeling about it was one of distrust. Natural. Something we don't know, something we never saw, we don't believe. Fraud was quickly suspected because everyone, in fact, knows about so-called invisible inks, whose marks are invisible at first but become visible sometime after the writing. Hence, it seemed like it was a possible abuse of people's credulity. And we cannot say that such has never occurred. We are even convinced that whether out of a mercenary interest or plain vanity or illicit belief, in their powers, some individuals have employed such subterfuge. The other day I was talking in one of the meetings, one of the studies, I don't remember which one anymore, that imagine if the Spiritism was appearing to us with the phenomena like Kardec time today. No one would believe. No one. Today, we have AI, we have means to even show my face telling things that's not even me. Through the computers, through the AI, through the softwares, through the apps. Kids have their hands on the phone and they play with. How could I believe in any phenomena if the phenomena was starting today? It would be very, very unlikely. Or at least I had to go an extra length trying to prove that was not true or whatever. But even like that, see what we see on TV today, on the movies, is unreal. It would be very difficult. So I believe the phenomena, they happen in the right moment, on the right time. So today we have enough people that could have studied those phenomena at that time, passing the information through new generations, and those new generations have a secure foundation to proceed and to continue the work that have been started 200 years ago. Just because something can possibly be imitated, however, it is absurd to conclude that it before does not exist. It does not help much, isn't it? Because if we are in doubt, and anything can be reproduced and not be true, it's not obvious. It's not clear what I should think. It's not clear what I should believe or not believe. Why I'm saying that? That's why it's important when we study mediumship also to study other things. To understand the mediumship phenomena, we also need to understand what is on the Spirit's book. And recently, speaking with Charles, I don't even know if Charles is here today, but speaking with Charles, we found an answer for one mediumship point in the Gospel. If you ask me, where do you find an answer for that? I would say straight away, you will find that in the medium's book, because it's where the phenomena is put together. But no, we found the information in the Gospel. So yes, the medium's book is the reference for mediumship, but it's not the only reference. We need to cross information through Kardec, all right? Having the means of imitating somnambulistic lucidity to the point of causing illusion being recently discovered. Here in UK, last week was, I think was Saturday last week, there was a TV show of a magician, or I don't know how he described himself. He was able to perform through somnambulistic or through, I don't know how to explain really, but he was able to convince a full auditorium full of people to ignore or to forget their name, to forget numbers. I saw the same in France a couple of years ago, also in a TV show, a guy doing something like that. Can I explain? No, I cannot explain. I don't know enough to explain, but it's interesting to see. And just because this decipherable method has been used in all the carnivals, Must we therefore conclude that there are no true somnambulists? Just because some retailers sell adulterated wine, can we say that there is no such a thing as poor wine? We cannot. The same applies to direct writing. However, the precautions that were taken to assure the reality of the phenomenon were very simple and easy. And thanks to these, there can no longer be any doubt about phenomenon nowadays. I'm not sure if they would describe the phenomenon, so I'll make a brief comment here. Basically, they got paper and they lock the paper in drawers, in safes. And after the meeting was concluded, when they opened the drawer with locking key, by the way, they could see written messages on that paper. And in those meetings, we had people that we could not doubt about the moral, the way they were, their professions and anything. They select people, known people at society at the time, and they were part of it. That was one way they did. Since the possibility of writing without an intermediary is an attribute of spirits who have always existed in every era, which was the first automatic writing we know in our era? Do you have an idea? No? Oh, what a shame. There was a guy that went with 2 stones somewhere. And when he came back with 10 items written in 1 stone. Who was him? I won't tell you. It's up to you.
Moise.
Moses.
Moise. How Moises or Moises? Moise. Okay.
That's very
Moses.
true. That's very true. Right? He was the first one to download something from the cloud, by the way. So, yeah, you are right. Where did I stop? Always have produced. So, who have always existed in every era, have produced the various phenomena with which we are familiar. They surely must have produced directly writings during antiquity, and we just spoke about one, as well as today. This could explain the appearance of the 4 words written on, oh dear, Belshazzar. I don't know what that. Party hall wall during the Middle Ages. I will try to see that later, what it is. So, stepped in secretive wonders, which the state tried to rush up. Direct writing must also have been known about. Perhaps in the theory regarding the modifications that spirits can produce in matter, and which we developed in chapter 8. The principle for the medieval belief in the transmutation of metal may be found. Yeah, why not? Whatever the results obtained in previous eras may have been, however, it was only after the popularization of spirits manifestations that the issue of direct writing began to be taken seriously. The first time it became known in Paris a few years ago. Just by the way, Belshazzar is son of Nebuchadnezzar II, and the last king of Babylon, who was warned of his doom by handwriting on the wall, and which was interpreted by Daniel. Interesting. So the first time it became known in Paris a few years ago, seems to have been when the Baron de Guldenstube, oh dear, Guldenstube published a very interesting work on the subject, employing a large number of facsimiles that had been written in this manner. So we had people, if he was a baron, so he was someone recognized in society, and he was doing his exercise already, his research about the topic. The phenomenon had already been known about in America for quite some time. So the phenomenon was not happening only in Paris or in Europe, it was happening elsewhere. Guldenstube's social position, his independence, and the respect he enjoyed in high society undeniably discounted any suspected voluntary fraud because he had no ulterior motive to encourage him. At most, what could be accepted was that he had been the victim of illusion himself. However, a decisive fact was presented against such a notion. The same phenomenon was witnessed by other persons who had taken all necessary precautions for avoiding any fraud or cause of error. So yeah, there I'll stop here, right? We won't have enough time to go to the next one. And through the ages, we always had examples, we always had serious people trying to study about it. And we always had people that I may call like not believing in the phenomena. And will that change in the near future? Probably not. Probably not. Likewise, people that do not believe that our virtual meetings work, likewise, people that do not believe that our studies online work. I have proof today. How many people we are here today? We are 20 people in something very unusual, sunny day in London, studying about mediumship. I believe we have people from different parts of the globe here. Some people I know, some I don't. And it's massive, having 20 people early that time in the day together to study about Kardec, study about mediumship. To me, is a win-win situation. And that is also thanks to our friend COVID, because thanks to him, we decide to consider other venues. We decide to consider other possibilities. And I was speaking to my father the other day, and he was telling me, you have no idea how the Spiritism has grown here in Brazil since the pandemic. The amount of people that were able to reach that level of knowledge, that level of information online increased a lot. So I believe that it's not only back in Brazil, but it's also everywhere. Any final comment, any final question before we wrap up?
Would you like to say only about the transformation, transmute metal? Also, this is alchemy. It was very serious. A long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And there's a lot of things that today we say is mumbo jumbo. We say is just something written in the past by people that could not even understand what was happening. There's a lot of things like that. But behind that, there's a knowledge. Behind that, there are laws, universal laws, that we didn't bother to really revisit in the recent past. But the results are there, written in history or being used nowadays. So, who is here? So, can you do a quick prayer for us?
Sure. So let's just take a moment to close our eyes or just relax and just thank God and Jesus Christ for bringing all the good spirits to us and inspiring us to be here today in this study, to elevate our consciousness and to bring love and goodness into the world through our dedicated steps, day by day, lifetime by lifetime, getting closer bit by bit to God. We give thanks to God now for this study. Amen. So be it.
Okay. Thank you, so. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. And see you again in a week time.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.